and gentlemen of the 118 scale, 3.75 inch, 4-inch modern action figure community. I am back again, and in this video we're going to be discussing none other than the character we've come to know and love as Sneak Peek. Mr. Owen S. King, aka Sneak Peek, was first released in 1987, Series 6. And he has a very interesting backstory. Mr. Owen S. King was born in Bogor, Maine, and to a very famous dad. His dad is none other than the famous author Stephen King. And how that came about was Stephen King has a son, of course, by the name of Owen. And Owen was such a huge G.I. Joe fanatic, and I guess that led to Stephen King creating a character that we know as Crystal Ball. So in return, to show appreciation, the character Sneak Peek was named Owen S. King after Stephen King's son Owen. So if you like, you can pause and read that. It says here that his primary military specialty is reconnaissance, and he's known as the advanced reconnaissance, or he's known for advanced reconnaissance, and his second MOS is infantry. Now, this figure here is the re-release of Sneak Peek, and like I said before, Sneak Peek was released in 1987. Ultimately, he was the production on him was stopped in 1989. He did join a couple different factions in G.I. Joe, one being Tiger Force and one being Night Force. Now, Sneak Peek, this particular version, well, let's dance back a little. Sneak Peek was re-released as a modern figure in 2016 figure subscription service 4.0. He was then re-released, and well, that one was actually a Tiger Force figure that they released 4.0 in 2016. That was the Tiger Force version. But this version, which is very similar to how he presented as a 1987 figure, was a re-release in the figure subscription service of 5.0 in the year 2017. And if you look at him, and if you know anything about the original figure, this is a very nicely done remodeled piece. I really like how they captured the essence of the character Sneak Peek. Sneak Peek, I don't believe, had any cartoon. He had no cartoon appearances. So I mean, I think he just kind of stood alone and let us know who he was. He was in the comic era, but you know, if you weren't into the comics, then you didn't see him in a cartoon form. So let's get a look at Sneak Peek. So if you see him here, he looks very similar to what he looked like as a 1987 figure, Series 6. Well done. That figure had like a red type of cloth padding, I guess, for him laying down on his front side, trying to use his equipment to gain complete his reconnaissance missions. But this one, he has this flak vest, and it's red and green. Now, here's a couple things different. If you notice, on the 1987 figure, he had a hook on the side. That's where he had a large radio that clipped to the side of his hip there. And also, that right there, if you do buy the original figure, the 1987 version, look for that. That hook might be missing. That was a part that could definitely come off of the figure at, over years. The second thing was, I ended up getting the original figure in about 1990 for Christmas. My mom bought it for me for Christmas. And I looked at him. I didn't think he was that cool of a figure until I got him out of the packaging, and then, he really grew on me. So that's why, as when I started collecting modern figures back in 2018, I decided I had to grab him because he represented so much of my childhood. So one thing I like about it, when I did get it as a kid, the minute I sitting on the floor, the minute I opened everything up and got him out, I noticed his microphone. I plugged it in, it fell out, and I never saw it again. From that point, the very first time I even touched the figure, I lost the microphone. I never saw it again. So I like that this microphone is molded in. See it here. And it looks real well. It looks nicely done. That particular part, I don't need to have falling out. So also, that figure back then had a couple unique pieces that it came with. This being one of it. One of them was a kaleidoscope, and it looks very similar to what we got back then. But remember, that one wasn't detailed. This one is very nicely detailed with glass, like a glass. What do you call it? A lens. And here it has like its eye lens here. It looks very nicely done, but it looks very similar to what we got when we were kids. Just remember, the only thing is the one that we got in 1987 didn't have any paint. This was like pretty much a flat block, rather. Awesome. Let's look at some of the other equipment he comes with. All right, he's got his gun, or firearm, rather. You know what? Not firearm. Let's just call it assault rifle. There you go. And I believe this is an M16. Back in that era, that's probably what it would have been. These rifles, or what did I call it before? Yeah, well, these rifles, or assault rifles rather, were popular with our military back in those days. So there was nothing to see a military faction carrying these back in the days. Pretty cool. Black plastic, hard plastic. Nothing really special about that. Here we have a looks like a set of binoculars with a neck strap, and it's kind of angled so that it actually sits on his neck nicely. It doesn't look like it's standing forward on him, if that makes any sense. Then last but not least, this thing is pretty cool. It's like some kind of, if I had to guess, I would say it's some kind of a wind-up radio, so that it doesn't need batteries, or doesn't need a wire or an electric source. You just wind it real fast. A couple turns on that will get you a good few minutes of radio time. And this is probably like some type of telecommunications radio. All right, let's get a good look at that. Very nicely detailed in the front, but in as an homage to this particular character, being that he doesn't have a removable mic, he does have this tiny removable antenna. So that is something that may be lost if you pick this up open in the aftermarket. All right. Ironically, it looks like it pegs in his back, but if you look at his back is not open for you to put that back there. This flak vest covers his peg hole back there. And also, if you look, he's got his stand customized with his name on it. So now this helmet comes off. Let's give a little look at Sneak Peek. Look at that head sculpt, used many times before. However, every time I've seen it used, it's been used in a way that makes him look totally different from the last person who used it. Like, I think I can do a side-by-side with the Tiger Force version, and you'll see the two head sculpts are the same, but they look totally different. And that doesn't make any sense, but they do look different, but it's the same head sculpt. It's just the way it's painted up, the color of the hair, the way the eyebrows look. So if that makes any sense to you, that's what I'm trying to relay there. So this body style was used before many times over. Um, I'm not I'm not mad at that at all, because this particular body style of this figure looks really well. It's proportioned well. We saw it, I believe, Beachhead, the modern Beachhead is using it. Steel Brigade uses it. Shock Troopers, the Retaliation Ninja, uh, Cobra Ninja Troopers use it, and I like the way it's done. You know, he doesn't look too skinny. He doesn't look too big with a small head. It's just a perfect body scale for the figures. Very nice. This figure right here, if I had to grade it, I'm going to give him a B plus all the way. B plus all the way. Nostalgia, the way he was done, he looks really good. And I mean, there's not much more you can say about this character and about the way he was redone in the modern form. So with that being said, I'm going to cut this video right here. If you have any questions or comments, feel free, put them down below. I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. I appreciate everyone for checking out my videos. We're going to keep this 1/18 scale world going. 6-inch world is growing, but that's not my thing. I'm going to stay right here with our 1/18s. All right. So thank you. Peace.